Same on the y-axis values of the magnetic moment in terms of the Bohr-Magneton, and on the x-axis we have different this transition atoms. So basically what we have here is that the values of Nd, that's number of electrons on the d orbitals, that they are changing. Now if we find here three values of the magnetic moment for pure metals, for example, here you have this is ferrum, and this is cobalt, and this is nickel. So for ferrum we have here a value of magnetic moment equal to 2. For cobalt we have value of magnetic moment equal to 1.5, and nickel is 0.5. Now we start mixing. For example, here this curve corresponds to the mixing ferrum with the cobalt, and we have this curve here. Now if we start mixing some amount of nickel inside of the ferrum, we have here the curve just described with this curve. So both these curves shows that the magnetic moment of these alloys, they will be just reducing. So maximum value corresponds to the value of here ferrum, and lowest value corresponds to the nickel here, which is equal to 0.5. Now, if we consider alloying with iron some elements on the left, for example, this curve here corresponds to the alloying with iron some amount of vanadium. So we have between manganese and ferrum here we have vanadium. So we see that this curve starts also reducing and showing that the reduction in the magnetic moment. Now, if we start alloying ferrum with chrome here, this curve corresponds to this curve. So in both cases we have reduction of magnetic moment for these alloys. Now, if we look at this from other side, we can probably just start alloying with, for example, nickel, some amount of cobalt here, or manganese. So in this curve corresponds to this. So let's consider, for example, here the just case of alloying that happens with iron here. This, and this. So on the right we have alloying. We are alloying ferrum with larger values of electrons on d orbitals, like for example cobalt, nickel, and so on. And on the left we have low values of these Nd values. And we can fit these curves to these two straight lines, and these straight lines can be just interpolated with the formula. For example, on the right we have formula for the magnetic moment, which is equal to this. So roughly we can say that mu is for this alloys equal to mu b times 10 minus Nd. Nd is just the number of d electrons in these alloys. And clearly we can see that this magnetic moment just less than 2 for this case, because these elements for Nd are larger than 8. And we can see that on the left we can just interpolate formula for the magnetic moment with this expression. So mu equals to mu b times Nd minus 6. So this is called a rigid band model, and this corresponds to the usage of this formula here, that mu s stands here for the magnetic moment, and mu b is the Bohr-Magneton. Nd, here we have upward arrow. This corresponds to the number of d electrons that have upper values of the spin here, and Nd downward arrow corresponds to the number of d electrons that have downward value of the spin. So this is called a rigid band model. Now, if you look here, the iron is located over here, but we have somehow this kink in the curve. This key corresponds to the case that we have here hybridization of S, D, S, and P orbitals, and also some structural and magnetic phase transitions. So this key corresponds to the influence of these effects in these alloys. Now, besides of these rare earth and transition metal ions, we can also compose some other materials that have magnetic properties, and these are called Heusler alloys. So for Heusler alloys, we have that they are composed of three types of atoms, X, Y, and Z. Here, X and Y are magnetic atoms, and Z is just some other non-magnetic atom. Now, for this case, if we look at the how these structures are formed. Now, in the case of XYZ, we have three structures that are composed of FCC structure. So FCC structure stands for face-centered cubic structure, and in the face-centered cubic structure we have here atoms located on the vertices of the cube, and also on the centers of these sides. So we have here 6 sides, and centers of these 6 sides are occupied with these atoms. Now, all these FCC atoms correspond to each of these elements. Now, XYZ, the structure of Heusler alloy is called half Heusler alloy. It is composed of these 3 interpenetrating FCC structures. So, for example, if we penetrate only Y and Z here, Y and Z, so in this case, we will have this structure, Y and Z. Now, this X FCC structure is inserted along the diagonal here, and it is located in the inside of the tetrahedrons that are formed with atoms of Y atoms. So here we have Z atom, this should be Z atoms, so Z atoms here, and they form tetrahedron here, and inside of tetrahedron is located this X atom. So altogether we will have here 4 these tetrahedra and corresponding 4 atoms of these X atoms here. And we will form this XYZ structure. Now for the structure of X2YZ, now we have second structure, second atom that will be located here. And for this case, we will have this atom, this structure, X2YZ, and here we have 8 atoms of X. Now X and Y atoms are magnetic atoms, and these will be having here direction opposite to each other. So this corresponds to antiferromagnetic case.